Move the camera over just a little bit. So you say where you at so I can know the center. Perfect. All right, ready?
Yep.
What's up, everybody? This is Q. I'm here with Brian and Marilyn. You might know them from Clerks, and also a couple other Kevin Smith movies as well.
Clerks 3, and there's so many other movies that my brain is a little dead after a 4-day weekend
Gotcha.
to remember them. But look at my IMDb.
There you go. And you was in a couple of his movies as well.
Yeah, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy Dog, Jane, Silent Bob, Strike Back, and all the Clerks series. So once again, want to find out more, go to Brian O'Halloran on IMDb and you'll see it.
All right. So my first question for both of y'all is, what got you into acting?
What got you in acting?
Oh, gosh. As a child growing up, I mean, I don't think I knew that this was something that you could do as a business, you know? But seeing that there was a way to express oneself, and then at a certain point, living through things and having to find myself again, I kind of fell into acting. And the first time that I was on stage, and I grew up as a middle child, invisible, and I was up on that stage and people are actually listening to what I'm saying. I was like, oh, okay. And then expressing myself, because I was also very shy kid. So I was able to express myself in ways that I'd never been able to do that. So I was seen and heard, and felt that I could be somebody other than myself and not feel judged about it.
I got you.
Yeah.
It's valid. You got a good story like that?
Yeah. Well, listen, no, I was the youngest of three sons, and so I used to act up.
Okay.
And so I think my mom kind of encouraged me from instead of acting up and acting out to acting. So I would do like the kids variety play, like in third grade. I played the Mad Hatter in a small, tiny school production of like Alice in Wonderland. I think I was typecast from the very beginning, from that point on. And then, you know, as I got into like middle school and stuff, my middle brother, would do like plays in the park and stuff. And I wanted to be a part of it. So he was part of like a big Fiddler on the Roof production that they needed kids in for that one. So I went in as one of the kids. And once again, I enjoyed the attention of being, you know, on stage. And then after that, it was like in high school, I did the plays in high school, like from my like junior and senior year on. And then I stopped and then went to community college, took all the acting I could there. And then, you know, when you're in your early 20s, you kind of like want to make money and stuff. I then got a job. I was dating this girl for a couple of years, and I was just working at like a supermarket job for quite a while, moving up into the management ranks. But I still had the itch, the want to be a performer and to just to entertain. And so I remember, you know, bitching about some movie I was watching with some friends, and they're like, well, you're always bitching about people's accent, and why don't you do it then? And next thing you know, a friend of mine found an audition for a play, which was Dracula, down at the First Avenue Playhouse in New Jersey. He's like, we're going to take you to this audition and shut you the hell up. And so that's what we did. We went down there. I auditioned for Renfield, the lunatic, or the assistant to Dracula. I got the role. I did the production. It was a 3-weekend production.
And it was fabulous.
Oh,
in it.
thank you. And I thought I got really great reviews in the papers about it. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I then was asked to do other shows. So I then did Templeton the Rat and Charlotte's Web. And then I was asked, I would be approached by other theater owners, be like, hey, we'd love to have you audition for us for like Amadeus or something like that. And that's what got it rolling. And so we went on for a couple of years of that. I left, I kept working at the supermarket. And then I was working at another theater, and a phone call came from Joe Bagnol, the owner of the First Avenue Playhouse, saying, hey, this kid in town is making a movie, and he's looking to get actors to audition. It'll be next month, a Sunday night and a Monday night, and you're in the age of the characters they've written for. You should come down and audition. I'm like, oh, okay. The month came and went, totally forgot about the audition, and then so the Sunday night happened. I didn't go because I forgot, and then Monday came around, and Monday morning he calls and say, "Hey Brian, where were you? I thought these guys are holding the auditions. I thought you were going to come." I'm like, "Oh my God, that's right. There's a audition tonight, right?" He goes, "Yeah." So I got down there, I auditioned, I asked, "Hey, how many principal characters were there?" He was like, "It's 6, but we already have them cast." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I thought I was just auditioning for an extra, and next thing you know, I was called back after the audition, and 2 days later, and then I read opposite Kevin for the independent contractor scene, asked me what I thought about it. I thought, "Oh, it's hilarious. What do you think?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'd love to do it. Who are they in the movie?" He goes, "Well, he's one of the main clerks. The movie's called Clerks, and he's one of the main clerks." I go, "Oh, when I auditioned the other night, they said they got a cast for it." He goes, "Yeah, don't worry about that." And that's how I got it.
You reminded me of something because the first time I saw you, like we didn't know each other, I saw you as Renfield. So I feel like we were almost destined to eventually become friends and work with each other because I didn't realize that was your first thing that you had actually done. And I do remember that you did say that before, but it's like something just kind of clicked now. It's like, that was... I was starting to get into watching what the community theater circuit was, and that's why I was there watching you to see what kind of shows they put on and things like that. So, yeah, we were kind of destined.
Yeah. Well, here we are, 32 years later, talking about it.
All right. So we got to the point now when Clerks was under works.
Yeah.
So Clerks is known that he pretty much maxed out his credit cards and took a risk to do that.
Yep.
At what point did you realize that it was going to become a hit?
Not until, to be honest with you, after Sundance of '94. So we filmed it in the spring of '93. He took all summer to edit it, and literally taking raw film and cutting and taping the old Steinbeck machine. They rented one, and it sat in the back of the video store in Clerks, back of the video store, where he would be cutting and taping these scenes, and then getting a sound mix to line it up. And once he did that all summer, he had then entered it into the first local film festival in New York City called the New York Independent Feature Film Market, the NYIFF. And he got a slot, he got accepted, and the slot was the Sunday morning, the last day of the festival, at 11 a.m. It was a big theater. It was at the Angelica Theater there in Houston Street in downtown Manhattan. And we had about 25 people in the audience, 15 of which were us. But we had one big person that we didn't realize till later on was in the audience and saw it, and it was a guy by the name of Bob Hawke. Now there's a documentary called Film Hawke about his whole life and how many people in the industry he's helped over the years. And he said he came out of it and then reached out to other people in the industry, like, "I think I just found the next big thing in film. This independent film is going to be huge." And he passed the word. And then people started reaching out to Kevin, calling the convenience store about, "Hey, is Kevin Smith there? Because we called your house, and your mom said you're at work here at the convenience store." To which he was like, "Who's this?" And like, "It's, Janet Maslin from, the New Yorker," or whatever it was, or from the Village Voice. And so they said, I was told by a friend that I should see this movie. Can you send me a tape of it? And it was from that the buzz got that we got into Sundance. And then after Sundance, I didn't go to the first 5 days of the festival because I couldn't afford to. And we had 4 screenings, 2 during that time before I got there, and then the 2 after I got there. And I remember we were walking in Park City, and this is a funny story that Marilyn can finish.
Yeah, I was flying to Park City at the time that the first screening was going on. So once I got to Park City, I was just finding my way, dropping things off over at the condo that we had with everybody, and then getting up my paperwork and just walking around town. And as I'm walking around town, I've got people already recognizing me and stopping me and give, the whole, like, "Saw your film, you were great, everybody really did a great job, we really loved it." And it's like, oh, this is weird. And since once he got there, we were doing the whole thing again, walking around, getting to know where we had to go, be, and what was kind of going on, and getting stopped again. But at this point, he had to shave his goatee.
I was clean shaven for a different play I was doing at the time.
Oh.
And so they stopped me again. It's like, "Oh, we loved everything. It's like, it's so great." And it's like, "Well, thank you." And this is the guy that plays Dante. And so they were like, "Oh, wow." So yeah, it kind of went from there.
Yeah. And then also to find out that year when Miramax bought the film in Sundance and then decided to clean it up, add a really great soundtrack to it, and then release it in October that year. One of the things they did to promote it was 1994 was a Woodstock anniversary concert
Yeah.
up in Woodstock again. And during the day they played bands. At night at 1 a.m. there was nothing going on, but people are sleeping in the fields around the stage, of course. So they would play movies instead at nighttime. And one of the movies they played was Clerks. So technically, we played Woodstock, 94. And it was the type of film that once it got passed around and once it made it into the VHS market and the rental market, it blew up big time. And it was, me and Jeff Anderson went to a video store convention where stores would come to this convention hall, and it was a trade show where producers and distributors wanted to sell copies of their VHSs to these stores. Mm-hmm. And we had one of the main executives of Blockbuster come up to us and go, "Do you know your movie is the most stolen and unreturned movie in our chain?"
Stolen.
Yeah, stolen right out. And then we were like, "Well, thank you. That's our fan base, a bunch of cheap thieves. Do you want to buy 24 more cases?" And that was a story that I was like, "Wow, that's a great award to achieve, to be the most stolen film in their chain."
I mean, you do have in the movie, y'all have a sign saying, "If you're gonna sell, let us know."
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
you know your fan base.
Yes, of course we know fan base.
All right, so you was on the floor, and you can answer as well. You was on the floor for a long time.
I was on there for the 11 weeks of the 12 episodes.
So, how was that experience?
That experience was phenomenal. I was asked to be a part. I was, funny enough, someone that works for this organization is one of their casting associates. She had reached out saying, "Hey, would you ever consider doing a reality TV competition show?" I said, "Well, first of all, I'm not getting naked nor afraid, so you can stop right there." Secondly, she's like, "No, it's a trivia contest." And she told me what the show was, The Floor. I'd never seen it before, and only season 1 had been out at that time. Mm-hmm. So I went on to Hulu. I binged the first season. It's hosted by Rob Lowe. I'm like, "Oh, that seems cool and interesting enough. Yeah, I'll go through the audition process, sure." So a couple of weeks later, she sends me the email saying, "Hey, I've set up the first Zoom meeting for you with one of the producers for the initial interview, and then we'll have another one right after that." And so I did the initial. They didn't recognize pretty much who I was. I said, "What do you do for a living?" I was like, "Well, I'm in the entertainment business and I'm also a producer." Like, "Oh, are you in anything I would have seen?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, any of the Kevin Smith movies like Clerks and Mallrats Chasing Amy." They're like, "Huh?" And I had my glasses on at the time, so I took my glasses off. I'm like, "I'm not even supposed to be here today." And like, "Does that ring a bell?" She's like, "Oh!" And I jokingly said, "You maybe want to turn off your monitor and put it black and white instead, so they'd see me more recognizable." So like, "Well, why do you want to do this?" I'm like, "It's something I've never done before." Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, I could use $250,000, to be honest with you. And so after watching the game, it was funny because they then flew 100 of us. It's filmed actually in Dublin, Ireland. Oh. Yeah, it's cheaper to film 100 people to Ireland than it is to take them to LA to film.
I did not
That's
know
the
that.
tax credits, California. How about getting with it, will you? Anyway, so they fly us out there, and one of the things that was really kind of cool about it is like, no one really knew who I was at first. One guy was giving me the eye, which I kind of sense when someone recognized me, I kind of know who they are.
Yeah.
And like, "Can I ask you a question?" I'm like, and then they asked me, "Are you the guy from Clerks?" Yeah. And then they're like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Competing against you for $250,000. What's the problem?" And so once the game got started, it was kind of amazing, seeing Rob Lowe like just only like 100 feet from you, and seeing this crazy competition. Like the first week of competition, I didn't get picked, so I just watched the 9 people who competed and saying, once the nerves wear off, we're like, all right, I can see how this all works. And television is a lot slower. People don't realize how much editing and stoppage and starting, even in a game show there is. I know how it goes, but a lot of people don't. Yeah. And so a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, this takes so long." I'm like, "Yeah, welcome to the entertainment business." So then when we went through it and I finally got picked, and then it was someone challenged my category, which they had given me convenience store items as, I guess, a big tongue-in-cheek kind of joke. And so,
but you did it though.
But look, everybody knew what convenience stores items was, and the woman who I went up against, she was really good. We were neck and neck the entire time. She just stumbled on, I think it was churro she had stumbled on, and that just a couple of second difference made the difference in the whole game, and I was able to win that category. And then to go on and challenge other people, there was the woman who had architecture in front of me who had 3 squares already, so that got me 4 squares. And then I was able to then challenge the woman who had classic films, and she was bluffing, saying, "Oh, me and my family always watch films all the time." And then come to find out, she didn't watch any films ever because she.
Yeah, I remember your line said, "Yeah, I'm a producer, so."
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, I just said if I don't know these films, I should be out of the business. I should get out of the business. And so that just snowballed into a bunch of really great weeks. I really encourage people once they open the audition site again. It's the cast. It's thefloorcasting.com to be a contestant. I know they've already filmed season 4 and 5. Season 4 starts on September 25th, I believe, and season 5 sometime in February. And it was a really great experience. Definitely an experience in doing television I've never experienced before. And I was very glad to be able to achieve what I did, but also to show that sometimes people take assumptions about what actors are and what they are known or not know. And yes, are there a lot of I'm just gonna say it, are there vapid actors out there, self-absorbed people? Yeah, there are. Do stupid things. But then there are the actors who've studied a lot of things in their lives. You're studying to be different people. If I have to play a role for a doctor, I got to be competent and be able to say directives of what a doctor would say, or say very specific jargon. So we do study things over the years. And so knowing different subjects or being able to put that knowledge in your head quickly, we'll get scripts for an audition or even something we're filming, and they make adjustments the night before and go, oh, by the way, here's the rewrites. And you got to go, oh, shoot. So your brain has to train to learn all that. And same thing with studying for the floor. It was that type of thing, like, all right, I got to know these 7 topics that are surrounding me, so in case I get challenged, I can know it. It's the same kind of thing. If you know it, you're ready to go. Timing is all the rest. But thank you for asking about the floor.
Now, on to you. What would be your topic?
Oh.
What would be your master topic that you can?
Well, the other way, other than acting, the other way that I actually made a living was working in a hair salon. So hair and makeup.
Okay.
Probably would be.
You would beat me. I'll be honest. I know enough to get by, like friends talking, but other than that, you beat me.
Yeah, one of our subject was bathroom items and toiletries. Like there was a person who had travel items. Like there are things that are as simple as that.
It's the most random items.
Yeah.
But when you on that stage, or when I'm looking at it, I'm trying to keep up with y'all because y'all be like firing.
Yeah.
Well, also some of the categories, once they got into what it wasn't what you might have expected it to be.
Right. No.
And that's something they don't help you with. That you're on your own to try to figure out.
It's so broad.
Like one of the categories of my season was The Crown. Now, is it the TV show The Crown?
Yes.
Or is it the real royal family? And that's what you got to figure out. And we didn't know until you saw it that it was the real royal family as well.
And I saw that episode.
Yeah. So it's the type of things like that you just got to be prepared for. But I tell everybody all the time, when auditions open, go. You never know. Yeah. It's all about personality and what you know and what you can be on TV. Now, yes, they're looking for unique types on TV. That's what makes a show.
Personality has to match your brain.
Correct. Well, listen, there were a lot of people who epically failed in their own category too. So there were people who went up there absolutely bluffing. The woman who was like sushi, she said, "I'm a sushi chef." She couldn't pronounce sushi immediately. She stumbled over the word sushi, and I was on the floor, and I leaned over, like, "Oh, this girl's a liar." This girl, she can't even say sushi, never mind make it.
All right, so 2 more things.
Sure.
What advice do you have for people who want to get in the industry like y'all? Train?
It's like, seriously, in this business, it's very cutthroat. There's a lot of people wanting to do the same thing. It's like, so you got to do some training. You got to know what it is that is expected, especially if you're going to be on a film set. You don't want to waste anybody's time if you don't know where you have to go, what you have to do, especially don't know your lines.
Yeah. Definitely be prepared, be early, and be kind. It's kind of the 3 that I say. Be prepared, be early, be kind. Don't take an attitude that you're on a set that any PA you can just treat like crap. These PAs are in that position because they want to get higher into the film industry, and someday that PA that you pissed off a few years ago might be a producer of something you're working on, or even a writer-director coming up. A lot of people in this industry started out as a PA and stuff. So be kind to everybody going in. Be on time, and be on time means 15 minutes before you have to be there. Because you never know if there has to be an adjustment. And if you walk in on set at the time that it's like 8 o'clock and you show up at 8 o'clock, like, oh, wait a minute, I have something to talk about. And you get yourself familiar with too. Like, oh, is that where I'm going to be sitting down? Oh, is that where I can put my coat down? So always be early, especially for auditions, and then be prepared. If you've rehearsed yourself and you got yourself to know a script, you should have no problem if they hand you a rewrite right then and there. Like, well, I know it. Okay, so let me just change this. So be prepared. Don't take it for granted. If you're going to take it for granted, people will spot you and they'll chew you up, or they will just not work with you again. You can't fake it to make it. That is a great phrase for certain things, but faking it to make it in the acting industry, you eventually get sussed out.
Yeah. And in today's world, things going to end up right then and there.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, it's like, go into it for the right reasons. There's too many people out there who want fame and fortune. This is business. You might get there and you might not, but it's going into it for the right reasons. It's like it brings out different parts of why people want to act with you or work with you in general. Because it's like, otherwise I feel like I've run into too many people who want that, and they have this attitude of entitlement, as well as, I'm better than you, and it's not going to work for you in the end.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I think people don't realize that when you're an actor and you've worked on at least 3 union gigs, you have to join the union, right? So you join the union, you pay your initiation fees, you pay your dues. Just those people who are successful enough to do that, to join a union, 85% of the union actors are unemployed. The other 15% are doing jobs that are 2 days here, 1 day there, 3 days here, and then it's the last 1% that are the Tom Cruises, the Ben Afflecks. Those are the ones, yes, you see their salaries posted in different trade papers, like, look at these millionaires. But a majority of working actors are maybe getting $2,000 a gig to, if they're lucky, $6,000 for a gig, and that's it. And then they're hustling again and again. I always say we're like independent contractors. If I'm a plumber working on the house and I put in all the plumbing, now I got to look for a new house because that one's done. And it's that kind of thing as an actor. You're looking for a new production time and time again. So we're the type of people that have 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs that are flexible. That's why wait staff or bar staff are usually those type of people, or someone who could do part-time, whatever, is that type of side hustle that keeps your rent paid, your food in your mouth, and keeping you in clothes so you can do the auditions. That's the type of thing. Like anything work from home that you can do that kind of stuff is a bonus for actors. But at the same time, you got to hustle. You got to hustle to get yourself out there and to be taken seriously. But take the art seriously. And like you said, going in for the wrong reasons, like, well, then stick to TikTok. Then if you want the fame and fortune,
there you go.
Stick to TikTok, man. Get that algorithm to pay you for doing whatever you got to do. You want to do air horns behind old people on the street? Don't do that. That's douchey. Come on. But they got the clicks and they get that $1,000 check from whatever. But it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. So the last question is:
Yeah.
Is there anything that you can say that you don't have coming up? I know you can say everything you have coming up. So
yeah, what I have coming up. They can go to my Linktree link. If you go to linktree.com, which is a site. If you go to my Instagram, which is Brian C. O'Halloran, or my X account, which is Brian C. O'Halloran, or the Brian C. O'Halloran on Facebook, that has the links to everything I'm doing. That's the best way to do it.
How about you?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. It's like I have a link tree, and you can go onto my Instagram and get that link tree. And but also I will also list whatever I have kind of coming up. And in the last year, I've worked on some projects, short films as well as feature films, that are kind of starting to do the film festival circuit. And one of them we both have at Smod Castle Film Festival next month, Kevin's Film Festival. We'll have some feature films actually screening there, but you'll be able to see on my site where those film festivals are and where you might be able to see them. But I was very happy or very blessed to have actually worked with 2 actors that are known and played their wives, and one of the names of the films is actually leaving my brain at the moment, but I got
I
to play.
can add it in editing.
Yeah, I got to play opposite Stephen Root
Mm-hmm.
from The Office as his wife. And then the film that I'm working on, or that'll be showing at the Smart Castle, I played John Caplis' wife in a very fun little skit that we did. So yeah.
Are you playing my wife?
I don't play anybody's wife, but I do have a scene in a movie called Beyond the Crashing Waves that comes out next year. Me and Billy Zane, who also was at this convention this weekend.
He's actually right down the hall.
Yeah, he's right down the hall here from me. He and I were in a scene together. He plays a psychiatrist, and I play a father and a husband, and so it's a family drama film, Beyond the Crashing Waves. Look for it next year.
Okay. I want to thank both of y'all for a quick interview.
Thank you.
And thank y'all for watching. And make sure y'all keep up with the items they got going on.